Hi, I'm Marty. Welcome to Light in My Eye Scripture Podcast. It only takes a few minutes to spend time in Scripture and feel and be the better for it. Come be refreshed by the Word.
Good morning. Today I'm going to start in Moses chapter 1, verse 18. And again Moses said, I will not cease to call upon God. I have other things to inquire of him, for his glory has been upon me. Wherefore I can judge between him and thee. Depart hence, Satan. And now when Moses had said these words, Satan cried with a loud voice, and ranted upon the earth, and commanded, saying, I am the only begotten. Worship me. And it came to pass that Moses began to fear exceedingly. And as he began to fear, he saw the bitterness of hell. Nevertheless, calling upon God, he received strength. And he commanded, saying, Depart from me, Satan, for this one God only will I worship, which is the God of glory. I have always found this account to be very interesting. When Moses began to fear and saw the bitterness of hell, I know none of us, well, hopefully none of us, have sat down and had a conversation face to face with Satan, but we do end up looking at our fears and feeling that fear grow, and feeling the pain and the fear and the bitterness of hell, on obviously in a smaller portion, but I think it's so instructive to think about how when we're focused on the fears, things actually get worse. And the point of this podcast is to focus on God's light. And so I think it's helpful to pause and to remember what happens to us when we don't. We have difficulties that face each of us daily. And when we focus purely on those, it actually inhibits our progress. You would think that we need to be thinking about our problems so that we can problem solve and so that we can try to deal with them. But we're actually better off focusing on God and keeping our thoughts on Him, on our blessings, on gratitude. Because when we're focused on what makes us fearful, I'm going to go back to anatomy. Our brain, the frontal lobe, begins to shut down, and it fills our view. Have you ever been driving and you're stopped at a stoplight right behind a semi-truck, and because you're stopped, you're much closer behind the truck than you would normally be on the road, and that truck fills your entire view. You can't see to the sides of it. You can't see past it, what's up ahead. It's so close that it entirely fills your view. And I believe that choosing not to focus solely on our problems is akin to being behind a semi. When we don't focus just on our problems, it's like that perspective that we gain by being further back. Instead of the back of the truck filling our entire view, we have some perspective, we have some distance between us, we're able to see around us, we're able to see what's up ahead. And that's why I encourage looking at God and not just focusing solely on our problems and on the difficulties that we face, because that creates the fear in us that we do not want. And so I will turn to 2 Kings chapter 6. And this is a story that we're all familiar with. Elisha is with his servant. They're surrounded by enemies. Starting in verse 15 of chapter 6. And when the servant of the man of God had risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said to him, Alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. Now, I believe that that promise also applies to us. I believe that each of us also has a heavenly host that surrounds us and helps us through our day. But the way that I would encourage application of this scripture today is that when we feel like we're surrounded by problems and when those fears fill our view and that's all we can see because we're just right up smack against it, I would like to encourage each of us to pause and to pray that the Lord can open our eyes to see that heavenly help is with us. And sometimes that will come in the form of solutions and coping mechanisms and helpful tools that are before us, but we're so consumed with the view of our problems that we don't see the solutions and the helps that are around us. And having that eye opener from God, then we'll be able to see the way to still have peace. We'll be able to see the way to accept grace just for today. We'll be able to see the blessings in addition to the difficulties, and we'll be able to move forward. It is my testimony that God is with us and that He loves us, and that when we ask, He will help us and enlarge our view so that it's not just our own personal hell that we're looking on, but that we can also see God's angels, God's blessings, and His great love that surrounds us.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed these few moments thinking about Scripture. To find the text for the verses we've discussed today, you can follow Light in My Eye Scripture Podcast on Instagram. Have a wonderful day, and may God's light shine in your eyes today.